This is our story about a community-led restoration not far from the centre of Kerikeri and the volunteers that made it happen. It begins with the rather shameful degradation over many years of the Wairoa stream by sediment and nutrient runoff from nearby horticulture and agriculture, industrial waste, stormwater contaminants, and all manner of weeds along its bank that choke the life out of our wonderful flora and fauna. After a few of us had bush-bashed our way to a beautiful waterfall and remnants of native forest and bird life, we realised we'd rediscovered a local treasure. I believed that if the stream were accessible, it could be brought back to life and its mauri restored. Over the years, we developed plans for the community to also enjoy our treasure. The public planted thousands of native plants along the banks of Wairoa stream that were produced by another community group. We negotiated with private landowners where necessary to have continuity in the tracks. We obtained grants and donations from institutions, volunteer groups, businesses and individuals. Local school students joined in, some even gaining a prize in an international competition. We gained confidence and skills over the years. It was hugely challenging, rewarding and fun. Together we have built a very valuable asset at a fraction of the commercial cost to ratepayers had the council undertaken the work itself, and also enhanced the natural environment. We learned very early that community work can be very fulfilling. I hope this story relays our enthusiasm and pride in our achievements. We feel privileged to have had a role in our success. We hope that our volunteer efforts in Kerikeri will inspire similar groups elsewhere to rediscover their local environmental treasures for the benefit of everyone. When we started the track, we actually had started discussing it in 2013. In 2015, we started working on the track starting from Alden Park. We quickly provided a track up to the point where we had to cross the stream. A really significant bridge was needed, and it took 2 years from that point to actually get through consents, find funding, work out how to do it, get bridge designs and to build it. So there was a 2-year hiatus. We did carry on building the track on the other side of the stream by crossing the stream over a fallen tree log. But the building of what is known as the Brodie Bridge was really critical to the success of the whole project. Someone told Radio New Zealand about the project, I'm not sure how, and I was interviewed by telephone by Simon Mersep one afternoon, who asked me how was it going to be funded. I hadn't the faintest idea at that time, but I said it was such a good idea that the money would just parachute down. And to my amazement, that night I was phoned from Wanaka by Mr. Michael Sidey, who offered us $10,000, or donated us $10,000. And Michael Sidey was the grandson of the Brodies, who were settlers here in Kerikeri in about 1930, and they built the pagoda house, which is still here today. And although he had never lived in Kerikeri, he had visited Kerikeri and was aware that there's very little, in fact, minimal knowledge of his grandparents ever having existed. So all he asked for his donation was that we put a plaque on the bridge, and we were very grateful. Finally, in the end, we were able to build the bridge for $15,000. This would have been $80,000 or $100,000 if the council had used contractors. The bridge itself, the Brodie Bridge, was built by Rotary, in particular by Keith Day. Keith Day had built things all over the world. He'd never built a bridge in the bush. But this was quite a feat, and were quite extraordinary, really, and is a story in its own right. Getting the steel beams into the bush was a challenge. and then we had to get the steel beams lifted up onto the piles, and that was done by the fire brigade, which was had some keen men training to go up the Sky Tower. And then there were 150 bags of cement to get across the stream, and the local rugby club did that as just part of their natural training. There were two projects on Wairoa Stream at the same time. One was based around Cobham Bridge, where Orchard Estate was developing, and the council had taken a 20-metre esplanade reserve off it, and that was led by Ruth Marsh. My position in that was really to help her with planting. Meanwhile, way downstream at about Alderton Park, there was a second project led by Vision Kerikeri, and for that we were trying to get to a hidden waterfall that we were aware of the existence of, as it got lost for 50 or 60 years. So it then did occur to us with the two separate projects, there's a 600-metre gap, and we decided to link them. There was an obstacle in the way. There was 100-foot of vertical rise between them, getting around the waterfall, and that was a challenge in its own right. Having linked the track into a continuous walkway, the project has evolved into habitat restoration, really to perhaps take the track back as it might have been, say, 700 years ago, even before Mauri came here, and linking bush remnants with planting to get, as far as possible, continuous forest and a wildlife corridor.
This area here, Rod, when it was one of the earlier planting areas.
Yes.
But there was a lot of rubbish in here, wasn't there?
This was 2012 when the first plantings took place. That was under the auspices of Living Waters at that time. I joined in only really for the planting, to do the planting. And right here, we managed to clear the bank. It's quite shallow here. And we managed to clear the bank and get the plants in here. Subsequently, as we went upstream, we did about 70 metres. Subsequently, we kept progressing 70 metres at a time using diggers, even using machinery in the steep bank. It took us 5 years to get up to a point where we could bridge the stream again.
some of the big gum trees, that eucalypts that came out.
Yes, we we got rid of them this time. We had learnt from further back there where we didn't take them all out. When we extended the track up here, we got rid of all of the major trees, or major weed species trees. Yeah, you can see the stumps there and there.
And then the idea of bringing a track through, was that was the main motivating factor to get the planting along the riverbank, and then it was decided that it'd be great to have public access in there as well?
No, no. The way it started is we got up to this point. We were hoping to bridge across the stream there, but we were not actually able to. But we decided that if we went up here, we would be able to, perhaps, if we could open it up and get through the weeds, but it was impenetrable vines, if we would be able to go up this tributary stream. And if we did that, we were able to get a link into a Kerikeri road about 350 metres from here. So that was the driving force, was to get a pass through the wilderness, and subsequently that gave us an opportunity to plant and restore on this side and on that side of the stream.
And that land on the other side, how did we get the opportunity to plant that?
Well, that came about because an orchard over there was bought by a developer, and he's building, from memory, 200 houses over there, and the orchard went, and the council, as a condition of the building consent, took a 20-metre esplanade reserve off the developer, which was in wilderness, and the developer was extremely helpful. His digger came down and cleared the weeds off that bank. We did it the hard way on this side, but he did it for us extremely quickly using his machine. I had become aware of the hidden lost waterfall, and bush crashed up to it in 2010. Restoring an old track to the waterfall was included in the 2005 Community Board strategy and in the council work program with a budget of $30,000. Envision Kerikeri used to advocate for it each year in the annual plan, but nothing ever happened. The mayor at the time cancelled the budget, so in 2011 Vision Kerikeri said, look, we're going to restore this track to Te Wairoa ourselves. And Te Wairoa was the name of the waterfall given to me by Ngāti Rehia. And that is how Wairoa Stream became a bottom-up community-driven project. Council now has an asset at minimal cost to ratepayer. Work on the track started in 2015. In 10 years, it's now admittedly much more ambitious and an expanded project. It has a value of nearly $500,000. Roughly 60% of the value is the nominal cost of 13,500 hours of community volunteer labour, and that's costed $20 an hour, and more recently we've used the minimum hourly labour rate. The remaining 40% of the value is the real cost of materials and services such as legal costs for easements on private property, bridge building, track construction, native plants, which have been funded from grants and donations in cash or in kind, notably from the Community Board and other community groups and individuals. A top-down approach by council would have proved far more costly in real financial terms and very uncertain in timing. The council has many other demands and priorities, and its resources are always stretched. By engaging the local community, we've been able to speed up creating a community asset that delivers environmental, recreational, financial and educational benefits for the residents and businesses of our town. We're going to try, we're actually doing something which doesn't make a lot of sense. We should have taken these Taiwan cherries out when it's dry, and we could have got in through the horse paddock and taken them stuff out. If we want to get in across the other side of the stream, chainsaw out Taiwan cherries.
I actually know I had booties on when we were riding on the road.
Chinese bloody this, that and the other. We've got all this crap, and we've even got a few, we've got some, I think probably some fairly dead trees in there too that could just really... What we're trying to do here is get rid of the Taiwan cherries along the bank here. We've got a couple of good specimens of native trees here, but if we can get rid of the Taiwan cherries and the ginger and the privet and the acmina, which are all exotic trees which are a serious threat here, then we can replant it, and we're going to do that today when we've cleared them with native species.
Yeah. Watch out. So what motivated you to come down and join the Wairoa stream team?
I couldn't believe how good it was when I came for a walk.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Not realise.
Trees do you reckon you planted, Eddie? Your property and everywhere else? Yeah, and everywhere else.
Oh, probably 10,000.
10,000.
Whoa!
This one's flowering though, and we'll see if we can get some seeds off it this year. We usually fail to get the seed. Yeah.
And you get the seeds and take them back to the shade house?
Yes.
Yeah.
All the plants here that we've put in, over 25,000, have all been grown in a shade house, the shade house, where we've got another group of volunteers growing the plants and putting them out for habitat restoration.
Good morning, my name's Teresa and I work at the Kerikeri Shade House in Kerikeri. We're a social service as enterprise in some ways, but we are a plant nursery and we grow native seedlings for revegetation projects, from land care groups to private groups to farmers wanting to plant riparian areas, etc. In the local northern region. We grow for as far north as Wairoa now and down past Russell out onto the east coast down there. Our diversity is huge, so probably about 65 different species. So from your coastal sand dune species, which are your pengao grasses and plants like that, right through to your species, your tall trees, your purees, your broadleaf forests, inland forests and areas like Puketi and places like that. So there's a huge variety. Basically the powerhouse of here.
Yeah.
So they come in, we go through the process of recording them. So everything is labelled and recording A through to Z of the seed, and it is recorded as into when it's been collected, when it's been registered, the area it comes from, so the eco. So you can see there's no electricity in here, so we don't have any peat beds. And when you're growing something from a grass, a carrick sector or a pengao grass or something like that, right through to puriri, they generally require quite different watering systems. So ours is all one system.
Right.
But kauri will germinate within 10 days.
Right.
So you've got this massive tree.
Oh, gosh.
Germination is shortest, viability of the seed is the shortest.
Right.
Whereas something like kānaka, these are last year's seeds, so I can hold these over for a couple of years. So it's just interesting with the different species.
Yeah.
They'll need probably about a week to 2 weeks in here. I'll just
Right.
analyse that as the weeks go on.
So when they go from that, they then go into this
Correct.
potting stage,
They go into
do they?
pottles, yes.
Yeah.
Into the large pottles.
So once they get past this stage, you then go into sleeves, do they?
Correct. Into bags. Yep.
Yeah. And how many people do you have working down here?
Yeah, we have a good crew. We probably have about 15 to call on. And we just ask that people come in every Thursday for about 4 hours a day. That, as far as running the nursery, gives me a good idea of the hours of labour I have and what input we can put into it.
And they each have their own sort of areas of responsibility or tasks?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, everyone sort of, with volunteers, it's really lovely working with volunteers because people find their own place in a system, and so you give them that responsibility for the place that they find, and then it just sort of works really well. So, you know, once somebody has a responsibility, everyone goes to them for that job. So it works really well.
Yeah.
My name's Rob.
I know I called you Rob. Yes.
I'm Rod.
I know you're Rod. I called you Rob once and then I realised, oh, hang on. It's not.
And Rob is your
Yeah, my
uncle-in-law.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And now, what we've got today, we've got an area here, which in the old days was a wilderness of blackberry. You know, that prickly vine that really hurts. It was black, and I have to say some of it in here was quite hard. But you could do it. Can you do it?
Yes.
Yes.
We're going to work together.
Yeah,
okay?
Yes.
No, we are going to do a little corridor because I'm leaving assembly in week 5. So we will. Oh no, actually, you guys got to do it as next assembly.
Started the track park here, Bill.
Kerikeri High School is always looking for ways to engage with the community and make our lessons relevant, especially the science department that I belong to. So what we've been trying to do, in fact the whole staff came down here on Friday and they were looking for ways that we can actually involve the school, use our science in our daily lives so that we can make a difference. And the spearheaders of this have been the Tradescantia terminators. Amelia is a member of the team, and Amelia and her group of 8 students have been busy engaging with the community on a problem that they actually discovered, wasn't it, Amelia?
Yeah.
Yeah, would you like to talk about what happened?
We were walking down the Wairoa stream and we found Tradescantia, and we found it in numerous places, and we thought, after doing some research, we found out that it was such a bad weed, and we wanted to do something that could make a difference in our community, so we started the community problem solving group Tradescantia Terminators to try and decrease the Tradescantia around the Wairoa stream to make it a better place.
So trying to get rid of a really bad weed called Mexican devil. It covers the whole ground and stops any form of regeneration, any of the native plants regenerating. And what's made worse here is that it's also heavily mingled with black-eyed Susan, which is a vine which actually sprawls all over things and climbs up trees and ultimately kills them. So the two of them are a bad combination, and the Kerikeri High School students here are having a good battle trying to actually beat the two of them together. It's a fearsome combination, black-eyed Susan with Mexican.
Around the edge where it's growing.
I think most people don't really understand that if you cut it away, it's going to be...
These ones just sprout up. They'll just
Yes, there is quite a challenge with maintaining 4 kilometres. If it was just a track and we weren't concerned about habitat restoration, it would be just track maintenance. But in order to keep, to restore habitat and link bush remnants, it's an ongoing weed battle. And if we don't get back into areas we've planted, and we've planted about 22 separate areas, if we leave it for 2 years, we find our work is overwhelmed and we've got to almost start again. So we've got to get into each part at least once a year, ideally more.
But some of the old areas planted up to 10 years ago, they're not so bad now, are they?
No.
With the canopy?
No, once you get bush canopy, which you can normally would expect to get canopy closure in about 4 years to 5 years. Once you've got canopy closure, weed species, excepting for vines, will disappear.
Yeah, so an area like this and here,
yes.
now it's really just the vines we're worrying about?
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. That is now forested. We've got canopy closure in there now, and it needs minor maintenance.
Yeah.
This is a moss plant. It's got a fluffy seed which blows the wind, something like a dandelion. It's shed its seed somewhere, and it's going to resprout somewhere in Kerikeri. We have nearly eliminated on the stream, but it blows in from elsewhere, so ongoing control is necessary.
And we can see through the trees there Taiwan cherry in flower on the other bank, and the birds distribute the berries, don't they? Once they've in another month or so, there'll be nice little red berries on them.
Yes, and the birds will redistribute them
Yeah.
back on where we've just been clearing them. Here we are planting across the other side of the stream from where our track is. We have normally only planted on one side with our track, but we've crossed the stream and we've taken out a whole lot of weed species trees and planted it. You can see the trees, some of them in their second year, and the others are only planted about 2 or 3 months ago, but already the weeds are coming back and taking over, or doing their best to take over our plantings. Nasturtium is one of the most obvious weeds from this distance.
going off, but I'm not catching anything. You see that sprung, that trap? See that this trap is sprung?
Oh, right.
Yeah, see that should be. But, oh no, I can see a mouse, look. It's still alive.
Oh, right.
Phylocladus trichomanoides. Whoopsie, oops. Oh, he's caught by the tail.
Yeah.
We've got a blue one and a pink one.
Yeah.
One is aniseed and one is cinnamon. But it's hard, see, I've got a big hand, so you're meant to get this up in here, and you're meant to turn your hand around and smear it on this back plate, and the back plate is just smooth. It's a fiddly bloody system. I'm burning it on my fire at the moment. I chop it up and put it on top of my fire and dry it out, and then once it's dry enough, I chuck it in the fire. Only trouble is remembering where I've left the nail. This is quite a nice little location here, but I've never caught it. Oh, Rod's only just got permission, hasn't he? Yeah. And this is like the overflow.
Right, so yeah. Oh yes, it's quite a definite channel through there, isn't it?
There's water runs through there when it's...
When it's high.
Yeah. Might have been here a while. Yeah, that's a rat, isn't it?
Yeah.